Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to an overnight feeds recap of night number 54 of Big Brother season 25. A good Monday morning to all of y'all. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. So let's talk about what happened yesterday, last night, both on the live feeds and the TV episode itself, because in all honesty, the TV episode had the most exciting stuff that went on. Yeah, it was kind of chill, and they had the backyard. Everyone's sitting out trying to enjoy the outdoors while they could. There were a few conversations, and we'll talk about those. But I think the most exciting thing that I saw in the last 24 hours was the fight between Cirie and Felicia and Jared and Nicole in the bathroom. That was part of the TV episode last night. Also, that TV episode was on rather late. I hope they don't start making this a thing. That was a long time to stay up just to watch that episode. But we did get to see the fight. Incredible. Basically, just Jared telling us Felicia and Nicole that they did him a dirty by not supporting him, not voting for him. A lot of fighting, a lot of arguing going on. I think Felicia had a good point of saying, how can you be upset at me for not supporting you when the week before you weren't supporting me when it came down to me versus Izzy? But a lot of heated discussion going on. Can they ever recover from that particular argument? They talked today. They tried to say all the right things. They seem like they're polite and respectful to each other. But I just see that as being a permanent divide at this point in time. How could you ever trust each other after that particular argument that happened? It was quite exciting to watch. All right, now, also in this part of the live episode, what about Bowie Jane sitting there in front of Felicia and Nicole and Cirie saying, I'd vote to save Jared, but the votes just aren't there. And Cirie said, well, all of the votes you need are right here in this room. And Bowie Jane trying to kind of cover up a little bit. Yeah, that was kind of interesting because, all Bowie Jane had to do is flip with the three of them. They could have saved Jared. They could have sent Blue out the door. From a recovery standpoint, it certainly seems to me like Bowie Jane could come back after the fact and say, look, they were not going to vote with you, or even if they were, I'd been led to believe that Felicia and Nicole were going to vote out Jared, and that as a result, Cirie, just you and I were going to be left holding the bag. I was going to be portrayed as the bad guy because I supported Jared when no one else did except for you. And so I just couldn't do it because I thought everyone else was voting. I think there's things that Bowie Jane could do to recover from that, but it's pretty funny her basically saying, yeah, we don't have the votes when the votes are right there of the people she was talking to. So that was interesting. And now finally, before we get on the live feeds, let's talk about this competition they showed, the 3 rounds between Jared and Cameron that enable one or the other to decide who's going to get to compete in this timed puzzle or whatever it's going to be Thursday to see who gets to stay in the house. It just seems a little awkward to me. Even the kind of competition they had in 3 rounds just didn't really make sense. The idea that you could be doing fantastic in round number 1, doing well in round number 2, and then round number 3 comes along, you knock your balls out of the little shovel that was part of the competition, and you have to start all over again. You lose anything that you did in round number 1 and round number 2. It just didn't make sense to me. If you're going to have 3 rounds of competition, why not have one round where you have to dig up the dirt and the balls and the stakes or something, another one where you have to drop the balls in? It seems like you could have much more well-defined rounds 1, 2, and 3. Maybe depending on how you do on the first task, gives you an advantage in the second, which gives you an advantage in the third. I don't know. I feel like there's a better way they could have done it, but it is what it is. It certainly appears at this point in time that Cameron has the lead, and based on what we've seen on the live feeds, it sounds like Cameron actually won this thing. He'll get to decide on Thursday whether he competes to do the puzzle or Jared competes. Whoever competes, if they solve the puzzle within the time, and I keep saying puzzle, we don't know that for certain, but it seems like that's the speculation. If they solve their task in a time period, they stay. If they don't, then the other person stays. There you go. All right. So that's the TV episode. Let's talk about what actually happened last night, yesterday afternoon. And for the most part, a lot of laying around, a lot of telling stories about anything and everything. And I'm not going to cover the non-game stuff to any large degree, but let's talk about some of the strategy talk that did take place. We're going to start off with Cory and Jared in the backyard. A long conversation that they had yesterday, just trying to hash things out after the way this past week has been or so. It's been a week. God, it seems like it's been kind of forever since they had that argument and stuff. But them trying to hash everything out between them, smoothing things over with each other. Jared is now saying that he understands why he was voted out. He understands what his role was that led to him being voted out. The things he did, good or bad, that got to that point, that situation. Cory is saying, look, I had to put up Blue next to you, Jared, because she would have used the veto on you. She was very much defending you, saying that she was not going to use it against you and all of that. And he said, so I had to put her up so that she couldn't win the veto and pull you up. If there's nothing against her, and with you, it is what it is. He's also saying that he asked Blue later, said, would you have used a veto if you'd won it? And she said at that time, no, because she thought that Jared would survive if he was on the block versus Cerise. So she didn't think it was necessary. She would have, of course she would have used it. But anyway, so he's trying to explain kind of how everything went down when Jared was voted out a little bit and what his thinking was. He also, a few other conversations take place on that. Let's see what we have. Jared saying that he had promised Jag that he isn't targeting him. Well, we've already heard him tell Blue that he'd love to put Jag and Matt up against each other. So as much as Cory and Jared are playing nice with each other, I don't believe anything that either one of them is saying right now to one another. Cory is talking about the fact that he was upset that Jared had wanted to vote out America. That's what led him to be willing to target Jared. Jared is saying, well, yeah, but America was coming after me. And so, I had to do what I had to do with regard to that. There's a little bit of an argument, a discussion about who took the first shot at each other. Jared is saying that Cory took the first shot when he started the big argument in the Have Not room on Thursday before the live eviction episode. He's saying that's what started it all. We were good until that point. You started that argument, and all of this stuff just happened afterwards. Cory is saying that talk about Felicia and Nicole and this whole kind of getting back to that argument we saw in the TV episode. He's saying, look, Felicia and Nicole voted against you just because the votes to save you weren't there. It's not that they didn't want to save you. The votes weren't there. And Jared's come back saying, nah, they were on board with the plan to send me out the door. It wasn't them not having the votes. They wanted to send me out the door. Jared's probably still not real happy with that. They are agreeing that no matter what's happened before, it's time to reset. Let bygones be bygones. Water under the bridge. Throw in any other kind of quote you want to, but they're saying let's just reset this thing and try to go forward. Maybe we can work together going forward. So there is talk that I don't believe that maybe they could be a group when they get out and do something. Well, we also know Cory's already said that he feels safe if Cameron gets back in. If Jared gets back in, he feels very unsafe. He'll certainly if Jared was to get back in, he'll certainly continue to propose that they work together as long as there's a chance that Jared could win the HOH. But he's saying we can work together a little bit. There's talk about what this final competition is going to be. Cory's saying, it's probably going to be solving a puzzle with a timer, something very quick that they know exactly how long it's going to take. And he's saying, Jared, that solving a puzzle using a timer, that may not be your strength. At least it isn't a spelling challenge, right? But he's saying that may not be your strength. So maybe it's not the worst thing in the world if Cameron does that challenge instead of you. And Jared says, no, it's probably not my strength. So maybe that's the case, but I'd certainly love to do it. But yeah, if Cameron does it, what do you think my chances of staying in the house are with Cameron doing this puzzle? And Cory says, well, he's pretty good at that stuff. He works well under pressure. He said, I'm giving you maybe 30, 35%. That's got to make Jared feel great, right? Now it's better than 0%, which is what he had when we first walked out the door. So we'll see how it goes on Thursday. All right, another conversation we've got, and that was a long conversation. And this is Sunday. At the end, I think it's Cory that said, the eviction, the contest isn't until Thursday. So we got a lot of time. We don't necessarily have to have another 3-hour hash it out talk between now and then. We'll just talk as we go along and all that. Yeah, you got plenty of time, guys. But they finally wrapped that thing up. We've got Matt and Blue talking to each other. Blue's wondering if the plan was always to put her up next to Jared. That caught her off guard. She's saying, Cory promised that he wouldn't put me up, and the next thing he did was he just lying to me? Was the plan always to put me up alongside Jared? And Matt saying, no, I thought it was going to be Cerise. That's kind of the way it had always been talked about until right then and there. It's when it happened that, Cory kind of changed his mind. So he's letting her know that no, that was not part of the game plan. It's just a last minute thing that was changed. Blue is worried that Jag is so close to Cory in America. She wants to work with Jag. She's just not really trusting now of Cory. She already is a little not trusting of America. So now she's worried about just how close Jag is. And of course, she knows that Jag and Matt are close too. So you kind of see those dominoes getting lined up. So she's a little bit worried about that. Matt is saying, look, I'm nervous about Jag because Jag, I think he said Jared. Surely it's Jared. Because Jared told Bowie Jane that Matt's expendable. So he says, I'm a little bit worried about Jared. I want to work with you, Blue, but I am worried about Jared because he says I'm expendable. You don't ever want to hear that. So he's mentioning that to her. Blue is thinking that, saying, well, yeah, but I think I'm expendable to Cory in America. So I'm just as nervous as you are, Matt. Blue is also thinking that Matt and Jag are good with Jared. If Jared was to stay in the house, was to win HOH, he's got other targets. Y'all should be good guys. Well, we've already heard him say that he wants to put Matt and Jag up against each other. Blue is also saying or Matt is saying that he rocks with her and Jag. Those are his two people. He wants to work with them going forward. So trying to do everything he can to pull Blue in, make sure she's comfortable with him, and therefore Jared as well. Hopefully, if Jared was to stay, Blue is talking about America, saying, I tried to work with America. We kind of had this final two. She said, I don't know if it would have lasted forever, but yeah, it could have been. We could have had a working relationship. But she says, I gave America a test. I mentioned stuff. I think I told her I had a final two with Sari. I think she said that. She said, I gave her information, the agreement we weren't going to tell anyone. And she said, of course, she went and told Cory, and I heard about it. So she said, I can't trust America. I gave her a test, and she failed. It seems like Blue is big on giving these people tests, throwing out information and seeing what comes back to her, because she talks about that again a little bit later in the evening. All right, so then we've got Matt saying that, talking about Nicole, telling Blue that Nicole said she'll put up Matt or Jared, whoever saw that she'll put up Cameron or Jared, whoever survives this week. So Nicole isn't going for any big move. She just wants to put up whoever survives between Jared and Cameron is what Matt is saying. Nicole has suggested. Matt's saying that he agreed. He told Nicole, said, yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. But then he's quick to tell Blue, said, but I just said that. I'm not putting Jared up. You need to know I'm not going after Jared if I was to get HOH. He says, I'm going to go after Felicia. That's my target. He said, Felicia, a little sneaky, a little suspicious. That's who I want to get out right now. Now, remember, Cameron has already suggested, everyone in his little group, the fugitives, that Felicia should be the top target. So Matt's passing that on to Blue as well. All right, Matt's talking about them being a good final five, and a final five consisting of Matt, Blue, Cory, America, and Jag. He's saying, we've got a great five. We've got the speed, the mental, the skills. We've got everything we need to win a lot of competitions and really go forward. Blue is worried. She says, yeah, I'm worried, though, that I could be the bottom of that group. I could be number five of these five people, and I don't want to be in that kind of position. And Matt saying, well, look, here's the thing. I promise I'm not going to let them take you out. You're a part of the team. I'm not going to let that happen. So, again, he's trying to keep her on board. All right, we've also got Matt talking about Felicia again and saying that Felicia and Cory are Cameron's targets. That, yeah, Cameron certainly wants out Felicia, but if that doesn't happen, Cory's going, you are not in trouble, Blue. He's not coming after you. You don't need to worry about that. But Blue is pointing out how dangerous she thinks Cory is. She says, Cory in America could easily be final two, and no one else is recognizing that. This guy is so dangerous. Blue is warning Matt that Nicole and Felicia will put up Matt and Jag over Cory in America. She's saying, if you're thinking that Nicole and Felicia are gonna go after Cory or America, that's not gonna happen. They're gonna go after you, Matt. You need to be careful. You need to be watching out, seeing what's going on. All right, we've got Cory and Matt talking to one another. They want to make sure to tell Blue that if Jared does happen to win this thing and come back into the house, that they want to work with Blue and Jared both. I think it's going to be trying to bring them into this group of five, although as far as I know, they have not actually told Blue that she's part of the fugitives yet. But the idea is to make sure that that Jared and Blue feel like they're part of that group, who would you go after? If they're part of that group, Felicia and Nicole and Sari, yeah, that'll go over fantastic. Felicia and Nicole maybe, but then after that, yeah, I'm not sure Jared and Blue are necessarily going to buy that. But they're saying we got to make sure they feel comfortable that we can bring them in if Jared makes it back into the house. All right, they also are talking about that if Jared comes at Cory, they need to make sure that Jared understands if he comes at Cory that Matt and Jag are going to be coming at Jared hard, that there'll be repercussions for that. So trying to get Jared on board, but also using a little threats about you don't want to come after us because we're going to come right back after you. So they're the stick in the carrot kind of approach there. All right, we've got Blue and Cameron are talking to each other. Blue is suggesting, and now this is kind of fun because Blue's doing a lot of talking. Cameron, the way Cameron sometimes has a conversation, not doing quite as much talking, mainly just listening to her and waiting for her to throw out more and more information. But the two of them are talking. Blue suggesting that if Cameron was to stay, that they should be able to work together. She says, Jared trusts you now. After y'all went out together, I guess y'all have had some good talks. He really seems like he trusts you, Cameron. If Jared trusts you, then I trust you. If Jared goes home and you stay, she says, now, obviously, I want Jared to stay. I'm not lying to you on that stuff. She said, I'd rather have him stay. But if he doesn't stay, the fact that he trusts you makes me feel like I can trust you as well. And I would love to work with you going forward, Cameron. And he said, yeah, we could make a relationship work. That'd be fantastic. She tells Cameron, she says, look, people are just blowing smoke at you all the time. That's all they're doing is they're blowing smoke. And then she follows it up right after that, but says, I promise that I won't put you up. If I was to win HOH, I won't put you up. Everyone else is blowing smoke. No, not Blue, right? Nah, not Blue. So she's promising that she won't put him up because as part of this new relationship they have. Blue is also warning Cameron, and she has a point here, I think. She's saying, look, just so you know, people are starting to think that, yeah, if you survive this thing, if you stay, people would be happy with you going to jury. We want you to go to jury and all that. And she says, but once you're on the jury, she said, this house is going to cut you loose immediately. Don't think that anyone wants to work with you long term. They're just going to get you to jury and then you're out the door. So your time is still short, and keep that in mind. Don't be trusting other people too much, no matter what they're telling you, Cameron. So she has pointed that out. All right, we've got Cory talking to the cameras, giving a little bit of an inside scoop on what's going through in his mind. He's thinking that if it was him and Bowie Jane on the block, I'm not sure where that name came up. He's saying if it was me and Bowie Jane on the block, I think I could survive against Bowie Jane. He probably could with the group that he's got supporting him right now. But he's saying, I need to get Jared out. I don't care what I'm telling him. I need to get Jared out. He's much more dangerous than Cameron is right now. He's talking about he in America. He's saying, my showmance, I realize that's hurting me. That's probably not great for my game. He said, every day I say, I need to end this. And he said, every night I basically say, yeah, well, maybe tomorrow or something. I don't remember the exact words he used, but he's understanding that the showmance could be affecting some of his game decisions and his strategies and all that. But at the same time, he's having too much fun with the showmance to necessarily call it quits just yet. So he's talking about that. He does say that if it came down to it, he'd be willing to cut America loose and let her go if it meant the difference of him winning or losing $750,000. So he's trying to keep his head in the game, but he's recognizing that he maybe isn't doing a perfect job at it. One of the things he mentions as well is talking about Cameron and what Cameron has been saying about putting up Felicia and Nicole if he wins HOH again. Cory says, there's no way he's going to do that. I don't believe that for a second. I don't think that's who he's going to go after. I think Cory feels like he's a huge target for Cameron. Cameron would love to get Cory out the door and then get America all to himself. So he's not thinking Felicia and Nicole's going to be the target if Cameron stays in his house. All right, we've had a little break from the strategy talk. We had a lot of break from strategy talk yesterday. But at this particular break, we had the house guests getting alcohol. I think they got pink lemonade and cake mix and more little birthday hats, all to celebrate Cory's birthday, which doesn't take place until Friday. But they got the stuff early. They actually went ahead and fixed the cake last night because Cory said, it's kind of chill right now. Come Friday, it may not be. So let's do it now. So yeah, Big Brother was nice enough to give them the supplies early. It just suggests to me that Big Brother sees this last 24 hours being as boring as we're seeing it watching the live feeds. So they got a little alcohol and party surprise, and uh, yeah, they all had just a tiny bit of alcohol, and enjoy your Sunday, guys. All right, we have that. All right, some more conversations. We got Jared and Sari talking. Jared is saying that Blue. All right, now this is actually a good conversation to talk about. So I'll give you a little ding, ding, ding. Pay attention because it's more important than the rest. Jared and Sari talking. And Jared, we got the feeds were gone. They quickly come back. I'm surprised they let us see this, but it's Jared talking to Sari and saying, Blue's probably figured out our little secret, mother, son, and all of that. And I don't think he did say that originally. A little bit later in the feeds, it was kind of mentioned, but he says, I think she's kind of figured it out. And Sari is saying, look, I can't. First of all, she said, I can't believe you told her. And then she's saying, deny, deny, deny. She says something about, I don't care if she's got your social security card right there to prove it. She said, deny the entire way through. Do not acknowledge any of that. And I can't believe you told her that. So yeah, Jared's trying to make it sound like it just that Blue's Clues, the detective just put the pieces together, figured it out. Had nothing to do with Jared's late night whisperings about all the secrets he had. But yeah, Sari's not real happy to hear that the bedroom talk may have led to someone finding out about her being Jared's son. So we did have that. Still left to be determined whether Blue uses that as a weapon at some point in this game or not. Kind of hope so, just for the chaos it would create and the drama, but we'll find out. All right, we've got Jared and Blue. Speaking of bedroom talking, Jared and Blue talking a little bit. Jared is saying that he had talked to Cory, and Cory was talking about that the couples could work together. He follows that by blah, blah, blah. Suggests to me that Jared really doesn't see any world in which he and Blue and Cory and America would ever work together as a group of four, but he is saying it. Cory brought it up. Blue is saying that she had told things to Matt that never got back to Jack. Remember, I mentioned that Blue said she did a test on America, which America failed. Apparently, she did a test for Matt as well, and she's telling Jared, saying, "Look, Matt may be okay with this because he didn't pass on all his information to Jack, so he's keeping secrets. So maybe that means there's something we can work with there." Blue's also talking about Felicia and Nicole. She's saying, look, Matt told me that for him and Jack both, Felicia and Nicole are the targets if they win HOH. They're not coming after us. They're going after those two. So that should be good. Felicia also mentions that, Blue also mentions that while Matt and Jag want to go after Felicia and Nicole, Cory wants to go after Felicia and Sari. That's who his target is. And Jared's like, yeah, typical, whatever. And so he's a little upset that Cory is still planning to target Sari. Talk turns to Bowie Jane again. Jared is thinking that he doesn't have a lot of respect for Bowie Jane's game, and I'm sure it has nothing at all to do with the fact that she wasn't willing to flip to save him. But he's saying Bowie Jane didn't play in this game. She'll go with wherever Matt goes. Whatever Matt does, Bowie Jane will come on board. If we get Matt, then we'll have Bowie Jane as well, because she's not actually playing the game. So he's talking about that. Jared's talking about, in fact, talking about not playing a game. He's saying, can you imagine how bad a final two would be with America and Bowie Jane as in the final two chairs arguing before the jury? So that's Jared's worst nightmare, according to what he's telling Blue. After all that conversation, then they get a little under the covers time, and I'll just leave that to the imagination about what happened there. But they move away from the game talk. All right, we've got Matt and Jag and America and Cory late night in the bathroom talking a little bit. Matt is saying that Jared said he is going to target people who haven't done anything in the game, the floaters in the house. There's a lot of people talking about going after floaters this week, and I don't know for 100% if they truly want to go after the floaters or if it's just easy to target someone that doesn't have a lot of supporters, a lot of alliances built around them. I guess we'll find out on Thursday or Friday. But yeah, Matt's saying that Jared said he's going to go after the floaters. There's talk about Nicole and Felicia perhaps understanding that they may not have the strongest support in the house, that they've been going around trying to talk to a lot of people, have a lot of conversations, trying to build a lot of relationships. So they're saying we've got to watch that because they're trying to get in tight. Who knows what they're going to tell other people, what they're going to promise, anything else. All right, finally, we've got Bowie Jane, Jared, and Sari all in the comic room, wide awake, listening to Felicia snoring away. Yeah, in fact, at one point, Sari, I think it's the boy Jane, says, "It's not me. It's not me." One, make sure that they understand that it's Felicia that's snoring away. Hey, Felicia, I get it. I absolutely get it. But that was kind of funny the way to finish up the evening. And with that, guys, that's it. Everyone's in bed, lights out by 12:30 or so, Big Brother time. So yeah, I actually stayed up watching longer, thinking someone maybe was going to get up and have a late night meeting. No, they shut it down early. Apparently, production told them there was going to be an early wake up call this morning. I don't know what that's for. Normally, when you have early wake up calls, that means something's going to happen. We have no veto ceremony today. As far as I know, there's no extra round of zombie competitions. So something scary happening today. Here's to hoping. We got to have something happening in this house. But they did have an early wake up call. They don't know what's going on either. So everyone called it a very early evening so they can be ready for whatever happens. And with that, guys, we're going to shut down. Again, not a whole lot taking place. Cerie's now aware that Blue may know what's going on. A lot of people promising things to each other that don't really mean it at all. And there you have it, guys. All right. Y'all have a fantastic Monday. Just as a reminder, this evening, Cliff Notes Live, same YouTube channel, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Questions, comments, opinions, who you're cheering for, who you're cheering against. Come out there because it's all about the interaction. We're going to be talking for a solid hour. It'll all be Big Brother. Looking forward to it. Again, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. I'll see y'all either tonight or again tomorrow morning. Let you know what else happened in the house during the day, whatever special mystery we've got going on. But until then, guys, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.